need your help in baking a cake.
How can I help you in baking a cake? If you want, I can give you the recipe to make a cake.
We know the recipe, but the ingredients required to bake the cake are up in the shelves and we cannot reach it. Use your stretchable legs to reach up and get us the ingredients we ask.
Okay.
First we need half kilogram of flour, and then we need 1/3 kilogram of sugar, 1/4 kilogram of chocolate powder.
I will mix all the ingredients.
So, we're not going to class today.
No, can't you see that we are busy making cake?
Can I ask you something?
Sure, Chitti.
You have added half kg of flour, 1/3 kg of sugar, and 1/4 kg of chocolate powder. Can you find the weight of the mixture of these 3 ingredients?
We know how to add like fractions, but these fractions are different.
Then, let me explain to you the different types of fractions as the cake gets baked. In this session, we will learn about types of fractions, equivalent fractions, checking equivalent fractions, finding equivalent fractions of the given fraction, and reducing fractions into its lowest terms. Before learning more about fractions, let us recollect the terms what you have learnt about fractions in your earlier classes. What is a fraction?
Fraction is part of the whole. In the given figures, the fractional part of the shaded regions are 1/2, 3/4, 3/5, 4/9. In these fractions, 1/2, 3/4, 3/5, 4/9, the numbers 1, 3, 3 and 4 are known as the numerator of the fraction, and 2, 4, 5, 9 are known as the denominator of the fraction.
Good! What is unit fraction?
A fraction whose numerator is 1 are called unit fraction. For example, 1/4, 1/11, 1/13, etc.
In the given fractions, tell me which are proper fractions and which are improper fractions.
1/2, 5/9 and 6/7 are proper fractions, and 5/2 is improper fraction.
That is correct, Akshita. But can you tell me how to differentiate between a proper fraction and an improper fraction?
A fraction whose numerator is smaller than its denominator is known as proper fraction, and a fraction whose numerator is greater than its denominator is known as improper fraction.
Excellent! I have some questions for you, Akash. Can you tell me what are like and unlike fractions?
The fractions having common denominators or same denominators are known as like fractions, and the fractions with different denominators are known as unlike fractions.
Can you give me some examples?
Of course, 2/7, 3/7, 11/7, 19/7 are known as like fractions since they have 7 as the common denominator. 8/9, 3/11, 17/50, 6/7 are examples of unlike fractions since they have different denominators.
This shows that you both are studious students. Can you represent the shaded region as fraction?
Sure, the shaded region of the given figure represents the fraction 1/3/4.
How do you call that fraction?
It is mixed in number. A mixed number is a combination of whole and a proper fraction. In example 1/3/4, 1 is the whole number part and 3/4 is the fractional part.
Can you see the fractional part of the shaded region in the given figure?
1 by 2, 2 by 4, 3 by 6, 4 by 8, 5 by 10.
Do you notice any similarity in these figures?
Yes, the fractional part of the shaded region in all the figures is same. But the fractions are different. How?
Yes, Akshita, you are correct. If you overlap all these figures, you can find out the fractional part of the shaded regions are the same. But the fractions representing the shaded regions are 1 by 2, 2 by 4, 3 by 6, 4 by 8, and 5 by 10. Such fractions are called equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions. Fractions representing the same part of the whole are called equivalent fractions. Consider the previous example. We observed 1 by 2, 2 by 4, 3 by 6, 4 by 8, and 5 by 10 are equivalent fractions. You will notice that 2 by 4 can be got by multiplying the numerator and the denominator of the fraction 1 by 2 by 2. Similarly, 3 by 6 is got by multiplying the numerator and denominator of 1 by 2 by 3. Again, 1 by 2 multiplied by 4 gives us 4 by 8, and 1 by 2 multiplied by 5 gives us 5 over 10. We can even say dividing the numerator and the denominator of 2 by 4 by 2, we get 1 by 2. So, to find an equivalent fraction of a given fraction, you may multiply or divide both the numerator and the denominator of the given fraction by the same number. Can you write 4 fractions equivalent to 5 over 8?
We can get the equivalent fractions for the given fraction by multiplying the same number with the numerator and denominator. Multiplying and dividing 2 by 5 by 8, we get one of the equivalent fractions as 10 by 16. Similarly, multiplying and dividing 3, 4 and 5 with 5 by 8, we get 10 by 16, 15 by 24, 20 by 32 and 25 by 40 respectively as an equivalent fraction of 5 by 8.
Good, Akshita. Now I will give you some fractions. Check and tell whether they are equivalent fractions or not. 5 by 8 and 15 by 24, 1 by 3 and 3 by 9, 12 by 16, 3 by 4, 28 by 35, 4 by 7, 12 by 16 and 84 by 112.
Multiplying and dividing 3 with 5 by 8, we get 15 by 24. Therefore, 5 by 8 and 15 by 24 are equivalent fractions. Again, 1 by 3 and 3 by 9 are equivalent fractions. The number what we are multiplying and dividing is 3. For 12 by 16, when we divide 4 with both numerators and denominator, we get 3 by 4. The fractions 28 by 35 and 4 by 7 are not equivalent. And it is difficult for me to check whether 12 by 16 and 84 by 112 are equivalent or not.
No problem, Akash. There is a method to find out to check the fractions are equivalent or not.
Really? Please teach us.
Fine. Consider the fractions 5 by 8 and 15 by 24. You know they are equivalent fractions. Now multiply the numerator of the first fraction and the denominator of the second fraction. That is, 5 multiplied by 24, we get 120. Now multiply the denominator of the first fraction with the numerator of the second fraction. 15 multiplied by 8, we get 120. Do this for other equivalent fractions also. What do you notice?
It is interesting. For all the equivalent fractions, we are getting the product of the numerator of the first fraction and the denominator of the second fraction is equal to the product of the denominator of the first fraction and the numerator of the second fraction.
You will also observe that for the fractions which are not equivalent, these products are not equal. Therefore, the above discussed method will help us to find out whether the given fractions are equivalent or not. Now, use this method to check whether 12 by 16 and 84 by 112 are equivalent or not.
We should check whether the product of the numerator of the first fraction and the denominator of the second fraction is equal to the product of the denominator of the first fraction and the numerator of the second fraction. 12 multiplied by 112 gives 1344 and 16 multiplied by 84 is 1344. Both are equal. Therefore, 12 by 16 and 84 by 112 are equivalent fractions.
In this session, you learn about types of fractions, equivalent fractions, checking equivalent fractions, finding equivalent fractions of the given fraction, and reducing fractions into its lowest terms. Hope you have understood all the concepts.
Yes, Chitti.
I think your cake is also ready.
Yes, I can smell it and it smells awesome.
Today we not only learned to bake a cake but also learned a lot about fractions.